Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Leela with second lecture on the subject Signals and Systems and Python. Before we move on to the second lecture, let me have a recap of what is taught in lecture 1. We have seen what is a signal, what is a system, and what is the importance of dynamic behavior of a system, and what are the standard signals and why they are required. In this lecture, I am going to cover classification of signals as continuous and discrete time with examples, and then some standard signals in continuous time domain like unit step signal, unit ramp, unit impulse, sinusoidal and exponential signals. Signals are broadly classified into continuous time signals and discrete time signals. A continuous time signal is one which is defined for all time instants. For example, here are some examples. The figure 1 shows a sinusoidal signal A0 sine of omega t represented as x of t. So this is defined for all time instants. Put any value of t, you get the value of x of t. So a plot of this A0 sine of omega t with A0 is equal to 5 is shown in this. Graphically it is represented in this figure 1. So there is another example x of t given by sum of two sinusoidal signals having amplitudes A1 and A2, frequencies omega 1 and omega 2, and they also have a phase displacement between them of 90 degrees because this is cosine and this is sine. The sum of these two sinusoidal signals, when we plot it, it is represented like this. So we see that it is defined for all instants of time. Take any time, substitute into these two terms, calculate and add, we get the value for x of t. Similarly, another example here is x of t is equal to a0 e to the power of t, where t can it is defined for both negative and positive values of t. For positive values of t, it is exponentially rising. For negative values of t, as t increases in the negative direction, it is exponentially decreasing. So in all these figures, we see that the x-axis is the time represented on the x-axis and the magnitude represented on the y-axis. So time is the independent variable and magnitude is the dependent variable which depends on time. So next classification is discrete time signals. Discrete time signal is defined only at discrete instances of time. For example, you take they are represented in two ways. One is by means of representing it as a sequence of numbers, or another way is to represent it graphically as shown here. So let me explain it in detail. So this is a sequence x of n, where n is the time instants and it takes only integer values of time, and it is equal to the values at different instances of time in a sequence, put it within bracket. So here the first element represents the value for n is equal to 0. The second element represents value at n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, like this. So if you represent the values of n, if I mark the values of n here, so this corresponds to n is equal to 0 and 1 corresponds to n is equal to 1 and minus 4 corresponds to n is equal to 2, and at n is equal to 3 the value of the signal is 3, at n is equal to 4 its value is minus 6, at n is equal to 5 it is minus 5, and at n is equal to 6 it is 8. So graphically when it is represented, we find here that the value is 0 at n is equal to 0 and its value is 1 at n is equal to 1, and when n is 2 its value is minus 4, when n is 3 its value is 3, and at n is equal to 4 its value is minus 6, at n5 it is minus 5, at n is equal to 6 its value is 8. So this is a discrete time signal. So which starts at n is equal to 0. Suppose if it has negative values of n, which I will explain in a short while how to represent it. So next, another example here is, this is a sampled sinusoidal signal. Sampled means it is obtained from a continuous time signal by sampling. Sampling means just calculating the value of the function at discrete instances of time and then plotting them as a stem plot like this. This is called stem plot. We find here that on the x-axis we have the instances of time, that is n, and on the y-axis we have the magnitudes which vary in a sinusoidal fashion. So this is a discrete time sinusoidal signal. So on the x-axis it is the time instants. So another example here is, this is an example where we have negative values of n also. So how to identify which is the n is equal to 0 point. So because see, when we represent it as a sequence, it is 0, 1, 2 starting from here to here, but we don't know where that n is equal to 0 will be. So here at a value at n is equal to 0, for that value an arrow is marked. So this represents, this is the n is equal to 0 position. So if you identify the n values, so this is corresponding to n is equal to 0. At n is equal to 0, the signal has a value of 3. To the right of this 0, we have positive values of n. To the left, we have negative values of n. So this is corresponding to n is equal to 1, that is minus 2. At n is equal to 2, we have 1. At n is equal to 3, minus 5. At n is equal to 4, it is 5. And on the negative side, at n is equal to minus 1, the value is 4. At n is equal to minus 2, value is minus 3. At n is equal to minus 3, value is minus 2. And minus 4, its value is 1. And at minus 5, its value is 0. So graphically, when we plot this, at n is equal to 0, its value is 3. At n is equal to 1, its value is minus 2. At n is equal to 2, its value is 1. At n is equal to 3, it is minus 5. At 4, it is plus 5. And on the negative side, when n is minus 1, its value is 4. When n is minus 2, its value is minus 3. When n is minus 3, its value is plus 2. At minus 4, its value is plus 1. And at minus 5, it is 0. So this is the value at n is equal to minus 1. So this is the graphical representation of a sequence when the sequence has values for negative n also. So to identify the origin of this sequence, origin means value at which n is 0. We place an arrow below that sequence value. Okay. So in all these three examples, we find that x-axis is the instances of time, that is n is the independent variable and x of n is the dependent variable. So let us see some standard continuous time signals. So first one is a unit step signal. So unit step signal is defined as u of t, that is equal to, it is 1 for t greater than or equal to 0 and its value is 0 for t less than 0. So for all negative values of t, it is 0 and for positive values of t, its value is 1. At t is equal to 0, its value changes from 0 to 1. So this is called a unit step signal. Suppose at t is equal to 0, its value changes from 0 to 2, then it is a step signal with strength 2. So the unit step signal is having a strength of 1 and any other step signal will have the strength is equal to whatever the magnitude that it has for t greater than 0. So next signal is unit ramp signal. The ramp signal is represented by r of t, that is it is defined as r of t is equal to t for t greater than 0 and 0 for t less than or equal to 0. So it represents a straight line passing through the origin. At t is equal to 0, its value is 0 and its value corresponds to a straight line with slope is equal to 1. For example, when t is 5, its value is 5 because r of t is equal to t. When t is 10, its value is 10, like that it goes. So this is a ramp signal which is of unit strength. Suppose if it varies twice of t, suppose at t is equal to 5, its value is 10, at t is equal to 10, its value is 20, then it represents a straight line with slope is equal to 2. So it represents a ramp signal of strength 2. So next is unit impulse signal. So unit impulse signal is defined by area under the curve of delta t. Delta t is this impulse signal. Delta t versus t. When the area is calculated as the integral of minus infinity to plus infinity, delta of t dt, its area is going to be equal to 1. So that means it is a curve extending from minus infinity to plus infinity. But when we integrate it, its area results in a value of 1. But there is another condition. This signal delta of t will have its value 0 for all values of t not equal to 0. That means only at t is equal to 0, it will have a non-zero value which is equal to 1. And for all other values of t which are not equal to 0, it will have a value is equal to 0. How to view this? So to view this, it is represented by means of a line of length 1 of infinitesimally small width, so that the area is 1, so that it satisfies the condition 1, and also for all other times it is 0. So expanding this time axis, see time axis is in milliseconds like, and we have the signal magnitude 1 with a time very small. So we can explain this concept by taking this example. So consider a rectangular signal of width 8, that is extending from minus 4 to plus 4, and height such that its area is 1. So height is 0.125, that is 1 over 8 into the width is equal to 1. So this is the largest rectangle is of area 1 whose width is 8. Suppose if we decrease the width of this rectangle to 4, that is extending from minus 2 to plus 2, 4, then proportionately we have to increase the height so that the product is equal to 1, that is area is equal to 1. So like this, if we continue go on increasing the decreasing the width of this rectangle, proportionately we have to increase the height of this rectangle such that the area enclosed by that rectangle is equal to 1. So you find here this 8, 4, 2, that is base is decreasing whereas the height is increasing. So when the base becomes infinitesimally small, the height is going to be, this rises towards 1, so that the area enclosed is 1. So it is represented by means of a line of length 1. So that is the concept of this delta of t. So next is sinusoidal signal. So a sinusoidal signal is represented as a sine of 2 pi f t, where f is the frequency, a is the amplitude. So here is the example with amplitude 5 and frequency such that it has a time period of 0.01, that is 100 Hertz. So the next signal is exponential signal. Exponential signal is represented as a naught e to the power of minus bt. It is an exponentially rise or fall depending on what is the sign of this exponent. So if for positive values of b, e to the power of minus bt, as t increases from 0, this is going to be negative. It is an exponentially decreasing signal. So for example, here is the graph with a naught is equal to 2 and b is equal to 5. So when t is equal to 0, its value, this e to the power of minus 0 is going to be equal to 1, and x of t is going to be equal to a naught. Since I have taken a naught is equal to 2, it starts from 2 and decreases as the time increases, because e to the power of minus 5t is negative and it goes on decreasing as time increases. So this is an exponentially decreasing. So that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed. See you next time in lecture 3.